So, hello and welcome to the 1% podcast. Today you have me with another solo episode, and I want to talk about how to survive silly season and, most importantly, start the new year feeling like Batman. Very topical. I'm recording this on Wednesday, the 10th of December. And the reason I think this is an important topic is if I speak to myself and how I used to behave during December and what I call, and a lot of us call, silly season, and pretty much run myself into the floor. I used to work in agency land 10 years ago now, prior to starting coaching. And client entertainment, fun stuff with friends. And it's an excuse to go full bore, get smashed, drink lots, eat lots, quote unquote, enjoy yourself. But for me, and for lots of the men that I talk to, that pendulum swings so far one way. Come December the 26th, absolute mess, like a pre-diabetic Santa. For me, cleverly asthmatic, smoking lots as well, with a chest infection, absolutely broken, and start in January like a warm bag of shit. Now, I think most of us don't want that. But on the flip side, we also want to relax, indulge, and have fun. And for a lot of us, work-wise, there is a lot of client entertainment. There's that manic rush to the end of the year, and so it can feel really intense. And the trope I hear a lot is, "Oh, fuck it, I'll just start again in January." But for me, I think that's really the wrong way to look at this. Now, to be clear, this isn't about me being preachy or telling someone what they should and shouldn't do during Christmas, right? We're fucking grown-ups, do whatever you want. But I think if you push the pendulum too far one way, although it's sold under the guise of enjoyment, fun, and silly season, actually, you just throw yourself into the floor. And by the end of it, you're not really even enjoying yourself. And so, what I think we want to be able to do is relax, indulge, and have a great Christmas, but also start the new year feeling fresh, great, and ready to give it a good kick. But to do that, that's predicated on how you behave in December. To be actually truthful, really, it's also predicated on how you behave with the other 11 months of the year. And if you've got your shit together most of the time, you can relax and indulge a little more, and it's no big deal. But I think the key thing with December is it doesn't need to be this massive all or nothing approach, right? I have clients at the moment who've technically got things maybe 4 or 5 nights a week. So does that mean then that they have to just sacrifice it all, get on it the whole time, and it is a write-off until January? Well, no, of course it doesn't. It's about being a bit more intentional and conscious and just looking a bit more clearly about what you're doing, what you want to get out of that. And let's say you have got 5 events you need to go to. Do you have to get battered at all of them? We both know that's probably not true. So which one are you going to pick that you are going to, and the others we can moderate a little bit. So it's not about not having fun. It's not about not enjoying yourself, but it's also about being a bit more intentional around what you do and also how you want to show up. And like anything in life, right? You can have anything you want. You just can't have everything you want. And so I think it's just looking at the month ahead and whilst you're in it, your priorities, what's important and what you need to do. But underneath that, having some very simple habits and behaviors to serve you will go a very, very long way. And the big thing that I find with a lot of my clients is that they look at Christmas or even a holiday or a fun event initially sometimes there's some sort of ordeal you need to get through, and it doesn't need to be like that. Like, yeah, you want to relax and indulge and enjoy yourself, but equally, that doesn't have to be at such an extreme that literally makes you feel like you're half dead and, picking up the pieces come the end of December. And so for me, I think it's being realistic and forthright about what you need to do week to week, what you need to do day to day, and staying true to those. And having some simple fundamental basics and habits to help serve you can go a very long way. So, for example, a little bit of exercise most days, getting out and getting some steps in, having some time just to decompress and manage your headspace and stress. They sound like not sexy, but they're really, really important. And a little bit of that can go a very long way to keeping an even keel. Now, on the flip to this is December the month to probably get shredded out your mind, the most super focused and elite you're ever going to be, like absolutely push your personal development to next levels? Of course it's not. But if we can toe the line and just look after ourselves to some degree, make some moderate choices, plot a course appropriately, what that then means is come January the 1st, you're ready to give the new year a good nudge versus, oh my God, dragging yourself out of a pit, right? Not only that, though, actually, for most of the guys I work with, got kids, family, you want to be fresh and sparky and enjoying that. And rather than having Christmas as something where you're just starfish and just in some sort of pickled mess, having it where you're feeling a bit better for yourself can mean not only can you enjoy your Christmas and have fun with it, you can start the new year in a good spot. And so moving away from this mindset of all or nothing, it's Christmas, therefore we have to go completely mental. I think that's the first point, right? You don't. But that's not me saying don't have fun. And again, to repeat, I'm not telling you what to do. But I think if you look at your situation a bit more objectively and go, well, all this social engagements that I've got, all the fun stuff that's coming up, where do I really want to get stuck in, and where can I moderate and just pull the lever back a little bit? And I think that's really, really important, because that allows you to have more agency and control over how you're showing up and what's happening. And within that, what that means is you don't have to say yes to absolutely everything, right? Like, you can say yes to everything, but that'll result in you being a mess at the end of December. It's about being intentional and focusing on what's important and what matters. Now, there are some very practical, tactical things we can do in terms of your habits, your behaviors, your routine, your structure. If you're looking after that day to day and week to week outside of Christmas, you can roll into December and feel fucking great. It's not some battle. Yes, some of the habits and behaviors and some of the things that you do in BAU mode day to day might take a bit of a back seat, but you've still got those foundations that serve you. And so if you're flailing in December going, oh, right, I'm going to wait until January, that's the wrong way to look at it. If you start looking after yourself today, you'll have a better December and you'll have a better January. Underneath that, what we really need is a set of habits and behaviors and standards for yourself that are sitting underneath, that are there both now and year round. And if you don't have those, when you roll into December, it's like, right, let's go fucking feral and get after it. But also, if you're not feeling your best day to day, you've been lacking commitments that you keep to yourself, you're not as healthy as you'd like to be, well, then when December comes around, it's like, oh, I can't wait, all bets are off. And you almost need the pendulum swing to let off the steam. If you're taking care of yourself more consistently outside of that, well, then you don't need to go quite as bananas in the first place. And so what's really important here is, if that's how you're feeling right now, it's an opportunity to say to yourself, well, maybe what I need to do is set some standards and some behaviors and some habits. And that can start right now. It doesn't have to start in January. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying come and sign up for me and my coaching. Well, you can do that and we'll help, and you'll have an amazing Christmas and an amazing January. Spoiler alert. But you can start to have some standards for yourself now, make some commitments to yourself, say no to certain things, and that will help you have a better December and a better January. The mindset of, oh, fuck it and wait until January, that's the bit that's going to trip you up. All it requires is a bit more intentionality, a bit more thought on how you're showing up, what you're doing, what you're committing to, and what you need to do. And if you do that, ultimately, you'll feel better and have a better December and a better January. So what does that look like materially? Well, having some simple standards that just carry you through is really important. Really boring stuff. Stay hydrated. If you've gone out and got shit-faced the night before, wake up and do some exercise. Chuck yourself under a cold shower. Rather than eating a load more crap because you've got battered, say, oh, fuck it. No, today I'm going to be healthier. And that's the other thing. It's like, okay, so you've had a big event, you've gone bananas, you've had 15 pigs in blankets, had 10 pints, and then the next day you're feeling like death warmed up. Well, you still have got a choice there to decide how you want to behave and how you want to act and what you want to do. And so it's not using that as a catalyst to go, oh, fuck it. It's like, no, we can turn this around right now. And so if you are to some degree a bit reactive, then if you have had a big event, well, then you've got a choice as to how you want to show up and what you want to do. And if you decide, you know what, that was a big one, well, right, I'm going to go and get after it now, you can. And that's the key part here. It's about finding that balance, right? And looking at December any differently from any other month, actually, is where the issue is. Yes, there's more on. Yes, there's more festivities. Yes, you can drink more, go out more, eat more. Yes, work's usually more stressful as well because you're trying to round the year up. But that doesn't mean everything has to fall over, or you say, fuck it, and throw yourself under the metaphorical bus at the altar of that. There's nothing stopping you making small tweaks and changes and course correcting in the wild as you go. So when it gets to the end of December, you're actually in a place where you're feeling better, you're fit, you're healthy, your head's in a better place because you're just making a few small tweaks and changes to take care of yourself. Often, that doesn't seem like big shiny stuff. And like, what the fuck's the point? I may as well wait until January. Well, if we're honest, what's happened every January? You feel like shit. You decide you're going to get healthy again. You're going to be more present. You're going to set some boundaries around work. You're going to finally stop procrastinating. List goes on, right? Last a week or two, maybe stop drinking for a week or two. Then, oh, fuck it, life gets in the way, start again. Whoop, back to December. What happened to the year? Well, here's an opportunity to show yourself you can do something different. It doesn't have to be like that, right? And all it means is make a few smaller changes and tweaks, right? My business is called the 1%. The podcast is called the 1%. Those little 1%. And so rather than using December as another excuse to be feral and say, fuck it, and lying to yourself and telling yourself it's all going to be great in January when it never is, why not say to yourself, well, I can make a few tweaks and changes now. I can course correct. There are things that I can not commit to, or changes I can make, or areas where I can tweak it. Now, of course, that's what I do in the 1%, and I've got a coaching program built around that, but it's also built around being your best year round. And then December turns up and we're all good because we're taking care of ourselves. But if you're in the place where you don't want to get a coach, you're still feeling shit, you're like, oh, fuck it, I'll wait until January. That is a fool's errand, because that's that mindset of it's going to be better in a certain point in the future, but it isn't. Yeah, January will be calmer, of course, because you're not going out as much. You'll be knackered, energy will be low, feeling shit, all the fun you've had, skint probably as well. Does that sound like a great place to pull your socks up and get after it? Why not do that now? Make some course corrections, some little tweaks as you go. So then when you start the new year, you're already in a solid footing and feeling good about yourself, because that's totally within your control. And all it requires is a little bit of thought, insight, making some suitable changes, and you can do that. Now, if I'm talking to someone who's 20, right, that's very different. Fuck it, fill your boots, go nuts. You got no responsibilities. It's no big deal. But I'm not. The guys who listen to this and my target audience, like, you're not 20, you're 40. You've probably got a couple of kids or more. You've got businesses to run and all the rest of it. So acting like you're 20 and wishing it'll all be great, and then drinking and behaving like that and feeling shit and then blaming the universe and trying to get going again in January ain't going to really help or serve you. So I guess really how you survive silly season and how you feel great in January is by taking a bit of a look at yourself, making some conscious changes and decisions around what you do, sticking to some basic fundamentals of self-care, which will serve you. Relaxing, indulging, enjoying yourself, but not going completely bananas. So then when the January and New Year rolls around, you're like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. I've had a great Christmas. I've relaxed and enjoyed myself. I've indulged a little bit, but I'm now in a good place to push on and keep building on those foundations and those pieces of self-care that are really important. Within that, there are some fundamental habits and behaviors that we can look at, and some tactics and stuff. And, like how to exercise, how to manage stress, how to set boundaries, how to push back, how to manage alcohol, how to structure your day, how to structure your evening, how to manage your phone use, technology use. There's a suite of shit we need to look at, right? But if we take a step back, really what we're thinking about here is you being more conscious and intentional around the decisions you make, not saying yes to absolutely everything, having a few standards, being a bit more balanced with how you apply things. And you do that, you'll have a great Christmas and you'll feel fucking great in January. Now, of course, if you want some specific help on how we do that with the tactics, the behaviors, some challenging accountability to look at where you're at, your part, fix some of the problems that aren't working, it's exactly what I do in the 1%. It's exactly what we can help with, and we can do that right now. It's not about waiting until January. And in fact, if I had a conversation with somebody who wanted to work with me and said, now I'm going to wait until January, I said, we're not going to work together, because it's the totally wrong mindset. What we need to do is start right now, because that means in January you'll be feeling great. And it's not about sacrificing. It's actually about empowering yourself to be better. But you can totally do that on your own. All it requires is a look at your situation, some honesty, and some intentionality around the commitments you make and the choices you make. Do that, you'll have a great Christmas. On that note, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.